Darkness covers the earth, but tonight we cry out for light. We ache for healing, for relief, for a breath of hope in a world gasping for peace. Lift your eyes not to the hills, not to the noise of this age, but to the one who spoke galaxies into being. We come before you today not with pride, but with open hands and hearts cracked wide by grief. We've tried fixing things ourselves, building walls of self-reliance, chasing the next distraction, whispering, "I'm fine," while bleeding inside. But you see, the wounds no bandage can touch, the loneliness clinging like shadows, the fear gnawing at our courage, the relationships frayed by pride and silence, the dreams buried under years of not enough. You promised you're near to the brokenhearted, so we ask, where are you now? In the hospital rooms lit by sterile lights, in the homes shattered by addiction, in the streets choked by hatred, in the minds drowning under anxiety's weight. Show up, not with a whisper, but with a roar that silences the chaos. Let the blind see justice. Let the weary hear mercy. Let the captives feel chains snap. Like dry twigs, we repent of treating you like a backup plan, of reducing your power to religious slogans, of doubting you care when sirens scream and headlines scream louder, but you're not distant. You're not indifferent. You're the God who turned deserts into rivers, who made dead bones dance, who turned Peter's denials into declarations. Do that again here. Now break the cycles, the generational pain, the patterns of anger, addiction, and apathy. Mend what's broken families, communities, nations. Let mercy flood the courts, the schools, the boardrooms, the prisons. Let love be the law in every home, every heart. And when the storms come and they will anchor us, not in our strength, but in the shadow of your wings, we don't deserve you, but we need you. So come, heal the sick, bind up the broken, raise up prophets to speak truth when lies reign, equip warriors to fight for peace, turn mourning into dancing, not because we're worthy, but because you are good. Because your name is love, and your legacy is redemption. We cry out for healing in a world where scars run deeper than skin, where children learn fear before faith, where leaders trade truth for power, and the vulnerable pay the price. You see the mother clutching her child's hand, trembling at the sound of gunfire. You see the soldier haunted by echoes of war, unable to unsee what he's done to survive. You see the addict clawing at the walls of their own mind, screaming for a way out. You see the widow who still sets two places at the table just because letting go feels like betrayal. These aren't just stories. These are souls begging for rescue. So we plead, let mercy fall like rain on parched ground. Let grace be the flood that sweeps away despair. We cry out for relief from the weight of endless striving, from the pressure to perform, to pretend, to prove we're worthy of love. You didn't create us to carry this burden. Yet we've built temples to productivity worshiping busyness while our spirits starve. We scroll through lives curated for envy, then wonder why we feel empty. We chase promotions, possessions, and perfection only to find the void grows louder with every gain. But you said, come to me all who are weary, and I will give you rest. So we come, not with resumes, but with ragged hearts. Trade our exhaustion for your peace. Replace our burnout with purpose that outlives the clock. We cry out for justice where the scales tip daily, for the girl sold into silence, for the father jailed for a debt he can't repay, for the families torn apart at borders, for communities fractured by prejudice. You are the God who hears the cry of the oppressed. You are the judge who sees the tears no one else notices rise. Tear down strongholds built on lies. Let truth be louder than corruption. Let integrity topple greed. Let the powerful tremble when they stand against the helpless. You promised to defend the fatherless, to plead the case of the widow. Do it now. Let the walls of injustice crumble, and let freedom ring where chains once clanked. We cry out for unity in a land split by division, tribes of us versus them, where dialogue drowns in dogma. We've weaponized differences, turned compassion into compromise, and forgotten we're all made from the same dust. You died to tear down the walls between us. So break the pride that fuels hatred. Melt the ice of indifference. Teach us to listen before we lecture, to mourn with those who mourn, to stand beside the outcast even when the crowd walks away. Let love be our first language. Let forgiveness be our revolution. Let the world look at us and say, see how they love one another. We cry out for revival, not flashy lights or empty hype, but fire that purifies, a cleansing that burns away apathy, greed, and complacency. Shake us awake. Let the church be the hands and feet of Christ again, feeding the hungry, freeing the captive, binding up the broken. Let our worship be more than songs. On Sunday, it should be lives laid bare, surrendered, set ablaze. Ignite a hunger for righteousness. Let the next generation see warriors who fight with kindness, who conquer not by force, but by grace. Let our homes be havens of grace, our workplaces, arenas of integrity, our streets, stages where hope performs nightly. We cry out for courage to face the battles ahead, because the road won't get easier. The enemy knows what's at stake and will claw harder, but fear is a liar. You've already won the war. So when darkness presses close, remind us the same power that raised Christ from the dead lives in us. Let that truth make us unstoppable. Let faith rise where doubt once ruled. Let our voices join the ancient chorus. This is the day the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. We cry out for healing, for relief, for a future where pain doesn't define us. And we trust you'll answer. Not because we deserve it, but because you are love, because your mercy endures forever, because you're not done writing our story. So we wait, we hope, we press on. And in the waiting, we find strength. In the hoping, we find purpose. In the pressing, we find you right here, right now, turning our mourning into dancing. We cry out for healing in the quiet places no one sees, the father who hides his tears behind a closed door. The teenager scrolling through despair, whispering, does anyone care? The caregiver whose hands are steady but whose heart is breaking. You see the wounds no doctor can diagnose, the ache of rejection, the poison of shame, the weight of secrets too heavy to carry alone. Pour out your balm. Let grace seep into every crack where hope has fled. Let mercy be the mirror reflecting their true worth. Fearfully made, deeply loved, never forgotten. We cry out for relief from the noise that drowns out peace. From headlines that scream doom to screens that steal our hours. We're bombarded by chaos. We've traded silence for distraction, stillness for stress. But you said, be still and know that I am God. So we pause, we shut out the clamor, we sit in the quiet, and remember, you are not silent, you are not absent. You are the calm in the storm, the anchor in the tide, the breath when lungs fail. Teach us to rest in you not as a break from the grind, but as a rebellion against it. Let your presence be louder than every lie that says we're not enough. We cry out for justice where the innocent suffer, for the child born into war, for the worker exploited by greed, for the voices silenced by power. You are the God who defends the helpless, who sees the tear of the oppressed and acts. Rise, Lord. Let truth shatter lies. Let integrity crush corruption. Let the mighty fall when they stand against the weak. You promised to plead the case of the widow, to rescue the children of the poor. Do it now. Let courts be filled with fairness. Let leaders lead with humility. Let the cry of the hurting be met with action, not apathy. We cry out for unity where division festers, tribes of ideology, factions of fear, lines drawn in the sand of pride. We've forgotten we're siblings under the same sky, made for connection, not conflict. You died to tear down the walls between us, or break the chains of hatred. Melt the ice of indifference. Teach us to listen before we judge, to mourn before we debate, to love before we correct. Let the world see a people who fight not with weapons but with kindness. Let our homes be havens of grace, our workplaces arenas of integrity, our streets stages where hope performs nightly. We cry out for healing, for relief, for a future where pain doesn't define us, and we trust you'll answer. Not because we deserve it, but because you are loved, because your mercy endures forever, because you're not done writing our story. So we wait, we hope, we press on. And in the waiting, we find strength. In the hoping, we find purpose. In the pressing, we find you right here, right now, turning our mourning into dancing darkness. Still looms, but the light is rising. Will you meet it? Will you stand in it? The answer is already written. Turn and be healed.